Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and this is a video going out to Jesus Freak and his video concerning the Christian God being the original deity. And what's interesting is there's a lot of hypotheses out there that the first belief systems were monotheistic, and there's other hypotheses that it was matriarchal hierarchy in the divine realms rather than patriarchal. So, female deities. The first trinity was probably the moon goddess. They had three different names for the new moon, the full moon, and the waning moon. The three phases, whatever they might be. Probably got it wrong, but I could get the names if people would like. So let's look at this, and probably when it turned matriarchal, it ended up influencing Israel from the Canaanite belief system. How do I know that? Here's a Canaanite text. Let me bring up my big shot eastward program. Where the name Yahweh may have come from. And Lipton, God of mercy, replies, the name of my son is Yah-El. So here's the double name. It's kind of like Amun-Ra out of Egypt. And also, there's a few other deities in Mesopotamia with double names. So here, Yah is the son of El. He proclaims the name of the sea, etc., etc. So you can see this text is kind of broken up. But we go down here to the author's note. Yah-El is the son of the head of the pantheon. This suggests that Yahweh was originally El's son in pre-Israelite Canaan. It is not unusual for a younger god to eclipse the older gods in the development of a religion. In other words, just as Zeus eclipsed his father Kronos, Kronos also eclipsed his father Uranus or Oranos by killing him. Yahweh eclipsed his father El. Subsequently, Hebrew monotheism necessitated the identification of Yahweh with El. So, where is that found in biblical literature? El shows up in biblical literature. Jesus Freak would know this if he kind of looked at the Hebrew and read the Old Testament, which a lot of Christians do not. He shows up as El and Elyon, and probably the multiple deities and the multiple ideas in Mesopotamia. Each town or each nation had its own god. So when Joshua says, choose ye this day whom ye will serve. As for me and my house, I will serve Adonai, or Jehovah, or Yahweh. So he's making a distinction between Elyon, El Shaddai, the Elohim, and El. But the El in Elyon is referred to as the Most High God. And we'll look at a text where that shows where the Most High God divides up the earth, and he assigns Yahweh, pronounced as Jehovah, Israel, the nation of Israel. And where is that found? Deuteronomy 32:8-10. When the Most High God divided to the nations their inheritance, he separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion, this here is Jehovah in Hebrew, here, which will be Yahweh, is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led them about, and he instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. So, in this text, there are other gods. The earth is broken up. Each divine being is assigned a nation. Just like in Egyptian mythology, here also in Jewish mythology. So, proof of that, here we have the king of Moab sacrificing his son on the wall to his deity to ward off and to defeat Yahweh. So here's 2 Kings 3:26. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords, to break through even unto the king of Edom. But they could not. 2 Kings 3:27. Then he took his eldest son, that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel. Tough word to say. And they departed from him and returned unto their own land. So what's going on here? The king sacrifices his son to his deity, and Israel is driven back. So Yahweh was defeated in this battle. Secondly, support for a polytheistic idea once Yahweh overtakes El. Where is that found? The minute or the text in the biblical text where Yahweh overcomes El. That's simple. Psalms 82. Psalm 82, we see the word here, the word El, right here. God, godlike, mighty one. So we'll switch over to the text of that. We'll use the KJV. And this is where it gets all theological. God stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. So here, Elohim, in the text, stands in the congregation of El. This is not the mighty. This is El. Here it is, congregation, Ehad, El. So going back to the new KJV, if I can find it here. Everything moves around here. We'll just find one. He judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Defend the poor. So here he's yelling at the divine beings, the Most High, telling them that if they don't do justice, then they will become mortal. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit the nations. So if we go back to the Hebrew, we'll see who arise, O God means. Here it is, arise, Elohim. To judge the earth, or the land, or the nations. So it's very interesting there, and so it appears that there were a hierarchy, and just like in the Canaanite ideas, it floated over into Judaism as they were settling Canaan. Another interesting thing is the Elohim. You do a search on this word, it'll come up over 200 times. This could be a lot of times translated as the divine beings. Support for a heavenly council, or multiple deities making decisions sitting in a court, comes from 1 Kings 22:19. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right and on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go and fall at Roth-Gilead? And one said on this matter, and another said on that matter. And there came forth a spirit, and stood before the Lord, and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So you could take a look at that, 1 Kings 22:19-22, the heavenly council in action. This is not according to modern theological Jewish interpretation, nor is it modern theological Christian interpretation. This is secular interpretation. Theological interpretations change as time moves on and as theology develops. Monotheism, I believe, is rather late. The word usage appears that it's that way, and when everything is condensed, That's how you get things like one deity in three, which doesn't really make any sense. In Greek terminology and in Greek theology, it does make sense. But in Christian context, it does not. And strict monotheism, to me, does not make sense in older texts like Psalm 82 in Judaism. Because of this, the Elohim, which is at times translated in some texts as the heavenly beings. So who decides, who translates this as the gods, the heavenly beings, or the God? Which is a very good question. So take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.